working fine. Anyways, getting ready for a walk. I've been saying that despite not training more than a week now, I've been walking a lot daily. So today I'm going to take you on the walk with me on the Trang Beach. Had a coffee, finishing with the herbal mix or the tea. I still don't know what they're adding up here, and then we'll go for a walk. Maybe I'll do some pull-ups even. We shall see. Hi, Matt. Good to see you. Feeling way better. How are you feeling? Oh, good to hear that. So, what are the updates? Tonight we're going on a sleeper bus to Cambodian border and going through the visa run process. Might even, let's see, maybe even live stream from the border during the waiting period, um, or outside of the border. Like we can cross the border and just hang out there until the documents will be ready, and then they drive us back. No complaints. Yeah, complaining is a waste of time. So why complain? Hi, Rebecca. Good to see you. Some good folks in the chat. Oh no. Okay. Hope you're doing well. Yes, I'm doing well. How are you doing? I hope that sun is shining bright. Howdy, Kayla. Oh, nice to see the whole group. Let me pin the Instagram message. Okay, pretty much ready. So let's go for a walk. All right, here we go. Not forgetting anything. Actually, need to maybe adjust the camera just for a second, so it does not sleep up. Okay, that should be all right. Okay, let's go. This is now the most active you see me in a while in the last couple of weeks. I always say, no matter what happens, please go for a walk. Someone says you should have been a model, and then they say you should have been a firewoman. It's two very different professions. Anyways, folks, how are you doing? Share your update. Anything new in 2026? How is the life on your side? It's quite windy today. I'm from Georgia, Tbilisi. It's a country in the Caucasus region. Walking clears and refreshes the mind, it's true. A lot of good properties about walking. Great baseline activity. Oh, look at this. Hey, puppy. Like this dog is literally going everywhere. He hangs out here very often, and it goes to the coffee shop where I was there. I tried to pet it, but it doesn't like to be touched. A little bit about showing you the street. A good techno. Let me see. Well, I'm not a fan, but yeah, the club is called Bassiani. I think that's the one. It's quite a big one. I've been there once, and I'll be honest, I'm not very impressed. But again, that's not my scene in the first place. Is this Ho Chi Minh? No, it's Nha Trang. Ho Chi Minh is like maybe 9 hours away to the south, and yeah. So basically, yeah, it's 9 hours away from Nha Trang. Puppy dogs needs a name. Probably has some Vietnamese name, but I don't know what they call dogs here. In Saudi, I'm not really interested in the Middle East. That's not my preferred scene. Let's say it that way. Is this Asia? Yes, it's Nha Trang, Vietnam. This building is quite interesting. I mean, it's in the north. You have more um, like a smaller buildings like this, where from a similar boutique hotel. But this one is big. I bet they have a pool on the upper floor. Yeah, but the government doesn't like techno or something. I don't know. Not really. It's just in Georgia right now with the government. It's all about if there is something that benefits them. So very often in those techno clubs, there are guys, folks. They are against the anti-government, and mostly those are youngsters, right? So and obviously in such an avenues you always have there are always some recreational drugs, and this is strictly illegal in Georgia. And as much as they don't raid it every time or anything like that, but there were situations where just they raided Bassiani just out of nowhere because well they knew that there were some people there, and it just was easy to target them, you know what I mean? So it's not like they care about um, the health of the people and so-called anti-drug policies. Everything is used to for them to be able to target as many people as possible who are not supporting them. It's not a necessary dictatorship at this point, but you know, the more problems you cause them, the more they're gonna try to find a ways to target you. Fun fact: the weed was decriminalized since 2018 in Georgia by the same government. It was actually benefiting them. The head of the party, I think, he had some farms, and well, basically they couldn't legalize it because that would go against church, but they decriminalized it, and since then, you know, people could consume it and possess in the small amounts. And in July this year, they just changed the law, and I never ever heard an announcement or like they even stopped my father just to randomly go do the drug test or something. He refused because he was just going somewhere else, and before it would be, you know, they would call you, try to get you in one more time, something like that. But now it's like strictly if you refuse once, that's already goes to the court and there is a fine, and the second time refusal is a criminal case. So yeah, they illegalized it. Why? Because well, obviously people consumed it, and a lot of protesters too. And now it's just like a very easy way to target people. Sadly, now government cares about the citizens. Everything is always about money, everything, money, power. Um, yeah, basically thinking short term about themselves and their families, maybe at the most. I still think. I mean, my husband is from Norway, and Norway is still very different from big parts of the world, the rest of the world. And there are some micronations there, like Switzerland. As much as it's obviously they have a system, you have to pay taxes, but the returns for the citizens is way higher. Like they pay per children, the medical care, most of it, and education is completely free. You know, like in Georgia, we don't have those kind of returns. So you still have to pay on the top to get education. You have basic medical care, but it's not very good. If you really want to have a better one, you need to pay. So I understand you cannot cancel the system. System is something that makes people puts the order, but people have to benefit from it, right? Is this not the same Georgia that I know? Well, we're talking about country first of all, and yeah, right now political situation is not the sunshine and rainbow. But all of that is temporary. Everything is temporary if we think about it. Okay, everyone moved to Vietnam. Well, Vietnam. As much as I love Vietnam, I respect people, and obviously, we're guests here. It's by the way, I'll show you the coast. It's a temporary base, you know, and as much. Ooh, that was a big wave. Nice, isn't it? Well, that's the point actually. As a temporary or part-time base per year, it's a wonderful place. Very affordable, good to save up money. Even my side hustles with the singing, actually, is working quite well, and they're like because it's side gigs. You know, they're not asking me to get the residency. Obviously, if I would do like a contract with the hotel or something like that to perform on the regular basis and get paid monthly, they would try to help me to get a temporary residency or something, or at least a working visa. But when it's just a side hustles, it seems to be it's not as strict as I heard in Bali, some other places. So yeah, we just love it here, and we definitely would want to come back every year for some period, especially for winter. Um, but in the future, looking forward to have a stronger ties with Georgia, keep the stronger ties with Georgia. Potentially another country in Europe, Schengen, and obviously my husband is from Norway, so at some point we're gonna aim to be more in Norway as well, especially when it comes to when we will have kids. We want them to be born in Norway and be registered in Norway, essentially. My husband is sometimes he appears in the live stream briefly during the training. He just doesn't like to be in the camera. That's it. Like I cannot force it, right? United States. Oh, well, the United States is massive and depends on the state. Still, it's not the lifestyle. The more I look into it, we were supposed to come to US. I got declined on the tourist visa, which just for a visit, but it was also a government shutdown, so that makes sense. It was. I think a lot of people got rejected in that period. I would love to visit and maybe even travel around the United States at some point, but that's not the lifestyle I would pursue, especially in the big cities. The more we live here in Nha Trang, Vietnam, the more I realize that I'm like a middle-sized city girl, or even small town. Like I wouldn't mind living in a remote area, like a village. or outside of the city, having a car, having a house, and just grow some food. It sounds cliche. A lot more and more people say the same, but I think we are animals at the end of the day ourselves. Like we want to be closer to nature. At least I do. What side of Norway? Well, he's from Oslo. How long do you have to wait to apply for visa to the U.S.? Well, I applied from Georgia. I've been told that I have to apply for my own country embassy, U.S. embassy in my country. But apparently, there's possibilities. I mean, if I would want to apply again, I could do it from Saigon consulate. But I don't know. Maybe it's just the first time I had to do it from Tbilisi. So we went back, and the queue wasn't that bad. I think it was under the month. The scheduling was a problem. I had to at some point it was closed the slots, and I had to re-enter daily until something opened up, and it opened up like 2-3 months away. But then I did the same for the next following days, and then the earlier date opened up. So I managed to reschedule, and there is you can always reschedule maybe a couple of times. So yeah, I rescheduled. I think it was like under the month waiting time. Oslo is big. Yeah, it's big, but it's also spread out, and it has like sections. I haven't been in Oslo at this point, but whatever I've been told, by my husband and well, his family, some of them live in Oslo. They're like it's not a very necessarily compact city. You have like areas, and there's some outside areas of Oslo that belong to Oslo, but are not the center. How's the weather in your neck of the woods? Kayla, tell us, how is the weather? Let me show you again the seaside. It's a little bit stormy. See, cloudy, but now the sun's out. And that is the kind of weather we're having right now. That's what I love about living in Texas. Uh, so yeah, we can live in the country, farm life at home, but drive a fairly short distance to get to the city, shopping, dining, sport. Yeah, that sounds all right. That would be nice. Well, feel free to share, guys. Where do you live? Where are you from? What's the weather? On the chat, chat is open for those kind of talks. Welcome to Vietnam. Thank you. Yeah, we've been in Vietnam for quite some time, and we love it here. We've mostly been in the trunk. Sometimes we go back to Saigon. We've been in Hanoi. We've been in Da Nang and Hoi An once, but pretty much those are the areas. There's still so much more to explore. I'm from Georgia. Same countries. Merab, Valishvili, and originally Topurias. It's Crispy 64, Texas. I'm sorry for your plants. Well, yeah, I never beat gardening. My mom used to have some plants, and then once she had to leave for a week, and Some of them died under my supervision. So, but that was when I was a teenager. And since then, like we've been, like my life have been very like working focused, and pretty much wherever I would leave, I lived. I was renting out apartment before mini Chris, and then for COVID period, I was living together with my father and my grandma. She has quite a big apartment, so I would had a room there. But I wouldn't really like it wasn't a home, so I would just have a sleep overnight and then go outside, go back for work, training, this and that. So I don't even remember the sense of like having home, when you actually settle down and start growing plants and start, I don't know, baking, doing things like that. One day, hopefully. I look radiant because of the sunlight, I guess, and a good portion of walks. Which city is the best to live in Vietnam? It really depends on your requirements. Really depends what you prefer. We love Nha Trang. This is, some people think that it's too. I'm gonna walk around the other side. Some people think that it's too small for a city. I mean, it's definitely a city. It's not a village. I can tell you that. It's not. It's neither a small town. It's a city. But a lot of expats, they rather complain that it's not that many activities. In comparing to Da Nang, there is another coastal city 9 hours away north. It's smaller. Oh, it's quite windy. But exactly because of that, we love it here. We have gyms for training and preparational purposes. There is a couple city center areas, a lot of food, still a lot of food, and some activities. You can go for a night out. But I'll show you the part we are living in. So this is like a center, but of the north, like the north side. So there is the other, how you call it, like a circuit behind this line. And that is like a center area. So it's the bigger area. Still, it's a short drive. It's nothing crazy. When I order a scooter, it's maybe like a 15 minutes to the center. So it's not far at all. And you can even walk. If you walk just along the coastline, you'll end up in the center easy. But you see, the boulevard in the north is very plain, very simple. Fishing boats, and that's it. It's nice, and it's super quiet. A lot of people, when we were looking for like a non-construction areas, some people laughed at us. They're like, "Oh, in Vietnam you have to forget about this." But we found the place. We found a little area inside, so it's not exactly on the coastline. It's like a little bit, maybe 200 meters in, and those are just boutique hotels and like maybe four or five floor buildings. Very quiet, very nice. The neighbors are like, it's a solid, peaceful, quiet neighborhood. So we found such a place, and we love it. Oh, it's Vietnam Nha Trang. Windy too. It's not a cold wind though. It's very nice, especially in the summer. It's quite often windy, and it helps to deal with the summer heat. Oh, what is it? Tennessee. You got good food and great nightlife in Tennessee. said one day me and Chris end up in the United States, just for the travel. Definitely hop in a few states that are rather interesting. Definitely coming to Texas. What about the air? The air is a good quality to medium. The worst air quality here is medium level. It's not nearly as bad as in Tbilisi or what we have in Mumbai. We have, anyways, yeah, like even in Tbilisi, Georgia, the the air quality is way worse, way worse. You miss Tbilisi? I will be honest. I think I'm happier here. I'm talking purely about the lifestyle. I have almost a daily contact with my family members, and it's somehow, I mean, for some people, it's hard to be away from their family. In my case, I love my family, but it's not that we were that close. I think we are even more closer um, right now and having more often and frequent contact. And some of my, I have a couple very close friends. But then I realized that a lot of my friends are also in some other areas too. So it wouldn't make a big difference if I was in Tbilisi at that point. So basically, when it comes to the daily routine and the lifestyle and the pace of the and rhythm of life, I found that I think Nha Trang suits me personally the best. Chris seems to be happy too. He says that he loves it here and he loves the pace and the rhythm of the life. And speaking of the devil, Chris is here in the chat. Looking beautiful, keep smiling. Thank you. Sorry. We all should smile more. Okay, another view on the coast. The beach itself, the water is quite shallow. I think it's almost impossible to drown here. I mean, it seems the waves are solid, but you would not swim here. There are a couple areas down there where you can chill on the sand and swim, enter the water. But that's the most you get. The bigger waves appear only when it's an actual typhoon or a storm. Yeah, at that point you wouldn't want to be near the beach, but nothing like tsunami or like a um, very tall waves. Nothing like that. It's quite shallow all year, every year. And in the spring, summer, there is no waves. It becomes like the whole coast becomes like a lagoon, and it's perfect for snorkeling and swimming. Dubai got far better beach. Well, Dubai is basically isn't it just a desert and you have like buildings and artificial islands. I mean, some people might love that, but and it's also too hot in summer at least. It's I guess it's way too hot. Here in Vietnam, it gets hotter, of course, but at the same time, you have that wind. It's more natural. It's more simple. Anyways, that's more suiting my taste. What city are you in now? Do people speak English? I'm in the trunk city, and people actually do, especially younger generation like my age. They are eager to learn and practice English. So a lot of them speak English. But even without that, it's not a big issue. The the data and internet connection is very good here. and it's very easy to just use a Google Translate to communicate. And even them usually have a translators ready. And if you don't use your phone, they're like, okay, let me just take that translating tool and we'll figure it out. Someone lived in Vietnam. Well, what was your experience? Oh, great. Well, me and my husband love Vietnam as well. It's quite sunny today. The sky is getting clear too. So the east is more cloudy, stormy. It's the weather can change every hour, so we can get foggy right away, multiple times a day. But right now it's quite sunny. What's the city? Nha Trang City, or they say Nha Trang. Nha Trang. They don't pronounce R, but we do it sometimes. So rather Nha Trang or Nha Trang. We like it simple. It's richer life somehow here. That's what my husband says, and I completely agree. It suits our perception uh, about happiness and nice accomplished life. We had that conversation the other day. We actually don't really need that much. Someone agrees with me. Dubai is just a desert and building. Well, some people love that. I mean, and nothing wrong with that. Some people just prefer it, which is fine. We prefer simplicity, nature, and affordability as well. It's also nice because it's very affordable here, but people they still make a common wages, which is obviously lower than I make remotely, for example, right? But the good thing is you can always tip them. You can leave extra, which is it's not that much for you, but for them it's good. And I've seen that a lot of foreigners doing that, and that way Vietnamese people also benefit a little bit more from the tourism itself. So that affordability, and from the other hand, as much as it's good for us, for foreigners here, I see for Vietnamese sometimes it's even cheaper prices. So they still have a good pricing ranges for each other. You know what I mean? I'm not saying it's like a drastic difference, um, and I'm not saying it's in everything, but the prices are just good for everyone. It's not crazy expensive. I'm telling you that, guys. Someone says Vietnam will be a chaos. Well, I mean, good point when it comes to, yeah, if everyone's going to start coming to Vietnam, uh, it already inflated prices, at least in the trunk. Vietnam is a big country, right? So it's always going to vary from city to city. Saigon and Hanoi are more expensive, but not dramatically more expensive. But it really depends on the policies too. One thing that Vietnamese do smart, the government does smart, they don't sell the land to foreigners. They just don't. Like in Georgia, for example, what there is a like there is the way around it. They You cannot as a foreigner you cannot buy agricultural land, but you can ask your if you have a trusted friend in Georgia, they can do it for you. And you can even make a agreement. So you can make an official agreement between you two, so both sides are safe. So that Georgian person just gonna change the status from agricultural to commercial, and then boom, just put it on the name of the a foreign persona. So this is how people in Georgia, foreigners in Georgia, can acquire land. And when it comes to the land and properties, like here you have 50-year lease. You don't own property outright. Might be good for, if it's a very good returns, might be good for a business. Renting out the property and winning that investment within a few years, for example. But it's not the place you like. It's a lease basically. You buy it for 50 years. You can extend it, I think, but it's not something that your children would inherit. So because of that, rentals can change slightly. There are some areas, a lot of Russians come here in the trunk. So the northern part, like I'll show you, these buildings, you see, like this area got a little bit more expensive, but not drastically. Definitely not dramatically expensive, just a little bit more expensive. But this area where we live in, still normal. And I see both Vietnamese. There is also a big inner tourism as well. So you can see a lot of Vietnamese tourists from other cities coming to visit other cities. So the point is, yes, some change is going to happen, but it's not exactly, it just happens and everything goes to, becomes horrible. It's just going to be like that, okay, Nha Trang at some point might get oversaturated, and then you have other places there, other places going to start develop more, and the focus and the trend or popularity is just going to shift. And there is also Cambodia, which is still almost untouched. And yeah, a lot of people like Cambodia, some areas at least, and it has a potential. So it's always gonna change slightly. Anyways, sorry for ranting. What's my husband says the local economy is booming. Vietnam is positioned to take a big part of global trade and is one of the best value and fastest growing economies. Look it up, guys. In the Southeast Asia, at least, it's one of the fastest growing economies for sure. If you don't believe us, you can double check. How long have you been there? A year now. We were back to Georgia for 2-3 months in 2025, but pretty much a year now. Someone inviting me to Iraq. No, thank you. Is Ilia Topuria your favorite fighters? A fighter? Well, I say that Georgian fighters like Merab and Topuria, both Topuria brothers. Like, I just put them on the separate place. Obviously, as the fellow Georgians and like being proud of them. But then there are a lot of other UFC fighters that are being on the top of the list. Okay, what do we have here? I wish more people cared and were knowledgeable like you. I know just enough to know that I know nothing. Nothing. It's just being a little bit more curious, being a little bit less arrogant, and that's it. I guess and always try to learn. Always try to keep learning. Like today, I have a little part of my routine. I'll cross the road because it's getting quite too windy on the beach. But anyways, I'm saying that one of the common parts of my morning routine is to take a walk, get the coffee, and watch some videos. I guess something educational about some figures in the history and some interesting facts about about nature. And well, today was quantum physics. I'm getting more and more fascinated with that topic. So, despite me understanding, maybe I always had like a zero understanding of math and calculations. Like I'm just not never understood it well at school in the first place, so I never committed to it. But now in my mid-20s, I'm actually quite fascinated about learning gradually more and more about it. So I was just sitting and I was listening to Brian Cox, and I was just listening, and he explained so well. And I was just listening about the quantum physics and the um, superposition and like how it just works, and then blows your mind. And then essentially about the quantum computers, they're still in the process. The big companies like Google are working on it, and it's thinking about it, how crazy it is, how it's going to affect our lives. Well, it's not a topic. It's still not a topic of the um, like, a lot of people still don't talk about it. A lot of people still don't think about it, right? And all of a sudden, I just listened to one lecture, and already my perception shifted a little bit towards it, and maybe my thoughts regarding future, how it's going to change and affect, both in the positive and equally can be in the negative ways. But it's literally going to shape the um, new era of living, I think. So to the point that even daily lifestyle changes drastically. It's quite crazy, isn't it? So as I said, just pure curiosity and less arrogancy. We don't we really don't know much, right? So it's just about being open to the information and try to navigate. Okay, what do we have here? Hello from Philippines. Hi from Vietnam. Do you speak Russian? Yes, I do. I'm my favorite Georgian fighter. Well, hope this year I become actual pro boxer. So then you can say that I'm a favorite fighter. Like and subscribe, Matt Test. Thank you. What do we have here? You're a tourist. You should do research on northern Iraq and the capital, and then you will change your mind. You know what? Maybe you're right. It just I'm a little bit of skeptical of Muslim countries as a woman. You know what I mean? I'm not saying it's equally the same in every country, but I'm telling you, even as the coming from the Georgian Orthodox Christian country, there are a lot of things that don't agree with me. You know what I mean? So that's why I find Southeast Asia simply more suited with my state of mind, because if we put it simply, even beliefs and the lifestyle of Asia, like Southeast Asia, maybe India, like those parts, is they're seekers. They're seekers. They ask questions, and you can see they're more flexible in the lifestyle, faith, culture. Not perfect either, but I think that's one of the main reasons why I like the vibe here. It's just it's a peaceful enough for me. But I'm quite open to in the future to more traveling and exploring. Why not? Also, me and my husband travel together, so wherever he goes, I go the same place. Um, okay, well, I'm actually back to the same coffee shop. Um, Let me find the good spot. Okay, here we go. Mm, can I have watermelon juice? Just no sugar. Yeah, 1 second. Yeah, come on. Right. Let me take a good spot. So what do we have here? Someone says, just remember, no matter how much you know, the reach makes the rules. Yeah, I guess the more power, the more resources you have, the more in control you are. But at the same time, we're living in a life that's, as the middle class or someone who makes relatively okay money, uh, you can choose the place you live. You're not tied in with your country even anymore. So there are a lot of ways around to build your own life, and depends. As I said, some people crave fame and influence and power, and they have to climb up through that system. Some people just want to shield themselves as much as possible. You can't fully escape it, but you shield yourself by choosing a very simple lifestyle. And there are many places in the world now you can do that. I don't have people I can just nerd out with about the interesting topic. Just falls out deaf ears most of the time. I love that you have an interest and thirst for knowledge. I'm a big time nerd. That's the first thing my husband started calling me, a nerd, as the loving way to call like a nerd, and I don't mind that. So feel free to nerd out with us, Kayla, and all of you guys. If there are other nerds in the chat, you're all welcome. Someone called for some Georgians. Have you been in other countries in Southeast Asia? Well, Philippines. We were visiting there for just a couple of weeks in Manila, and like 3 hours outside of it, one of the resorts. Technically, we were in Cambodia, but like in the border, and that's pretty much it. The plan was to travel more around, but we kind of chose to stay stay more most of the time in the trunk. Maybe you would like a liberal Nordic country like Sweden. Well, let me put it that way. There are certain liberal qualities and beliefs that are important. Don't forget that, actually, funny enough, modern conservatives are past liberals. In Georgia, for example, people who were opposing Bolsheviks and all the suppression and dictatorship were the liberals of those times. But they still had they were just all about the culture and freedom and like individualism to certain extent. But if you get it to the point that you have a problem of unassimilated cultures coming into uncontrolled coming into your country and erasing your culture, that's not the place I would want to be in. Sorry, not sorry. That's not the. I'm not saying it's all places like that in Sweden, but I heard Stockholm from the first hand from people I know that live there. They're like, there's some places police cannot even go there, and depends what you believe, what kind of media you watch. But I always suggest you to just check everything, check all the sides, and listen to different people who have different experiences. My husband's from Norway, though, so I think Norway, Finland, and Denmark, especially, having a better situation at this point. Okay, we'll see here. Do you miss Georgia? Well, someone asked me about Tbilisi. I don't miss particularly Tbilisi, even though that's my home city. But when it comes to Georgia, and I would love to travel around and we would hike with friends, I miss that. I really do. Like Georgia as the whole, as the whole country, I do miss it. I do miss it, but at the same time, I'm happy here at this point. And we're not staying here forever like that, and we're open to traveling, but we're gonna stay in the trunk most of the time for significant time, and I'm completely fine with it. You look like a badass big sister. Well, I am a badass big sister. I'm the oldest sister of my sisters. You haven't been to USA. LOL, middle class. I mentioned that as much as it will be interesting to travel around the United States, it's maybe one of the hardest places to live at this point. I'm talking more about the day-to-day costs and uh, and yeah, like there might be more chaos that I ever faced in my life. Like in Georgia, Tbilisi, for example, as much there is a tough political situation, you barely have a gun crime, for example, and there are some people I know who are talking about they like the second amendment of the United States, which is if you're armored, you are protecting your freedom of speech and general freedom of being. But at the same time, Georgia wasn't developed that way, and Georgian people wouldn't be ready, I think, to have a. There's some people you can have a hunting rifle and a semi-automatic rifle in your possession if you pass the exam, get the license, all that kind of stuff. Uh, but the fact is, you don't have a gun crime in Georgia. You're not in a situation where you can even the criminals, they don't just run around with the guns like openly. You might have cases here and there, very rarely. And here in Southeast Asia too, like it's just peaceful to walk on the street, and you don't expect things happening or someone trying to rob you that way. There is some petty crime in even in Nha Trang. Someone tried to backsnatch me, but because I was just a tourist and I had this very exposing bag that it was just asking for snatching it, and they were just like teenagers. They didn't succeed, but since then I just learned how to like I'm having my stuff like this, and never had a problem since. Never anyone ever would come to me and stick a knife out and tell me like that. Never happened to me in Georgia, neither in Tbilisi, Georgia, here. So I'm quite used to that lifestyle. To me, going to the places where it's more of a chaos and something's happening, or even drug addicts just being on the streets. I've seen what's going on in San Francisco, and it's crazy. It's like insane. It's like I never seen it. I never seen it firsthand. So even though some people come from those second and third world countries, but we're actually used to more of the stable lifestyle, like a day-to-day lifestyle. I don't know. What's your opinion regarding that? I'm just ranting a little bit. My hair is the way it is. I'm dyeing it. It's my not my natural hair, but it's a good color. Do you recommend tourism in Georgia? What places do you recommend visiting and for how long? Georgia is a very small country. The longest road trip I think would be 8 hours total from A to B point. Maybe a little bit longer, but it depends what route you choose. I'd absolutely recommend it. Start from Tbilisi as the capital. Old Tbilisi, a little bit of history. The old Tbilisi is quite historical area, and there are a lot of interesting historic um, destinations within the capital. And then just go outside, and it's easier to research. You have mountain areas like Kazbegi and other mountain regions. You have more remote ones like Tusheti, which is quite a tricky road, but with professional guide, it's usually safe, and it's one of the highest populated village in the Europe, I think. One of the like, and it's beautiful. It's a beautiful remote area was full of the culture, and it's a mix of Christianity with paganism, like Georgian, some leftovers of that pagan area. We had our paganism before the Christianity. Then you have Borjomi is great. It's like a mineral waters, also mountains, a lot of resorts there, and you have the coastal area. Um, you have Batumi is like the one of the second biggest city, and I think it's nice party and nightlife place. You would probably enjoy. Um, there is other resorts on the coast. It's not the best coast in the world, but it's a nice place to see, and a lot of other central areas which are you have some canyons and you have some caves there, and all of it has some history. You have some places where was now recently was the oldest string discovered, where was the that proved that people were already knotting or kneading in that area like many thousand years ago. I also recommend to check the wineries and experience the winemaking and tasting the Georgian wine. Um, Kakheti is like the south of Georgia, and that is like a big winemaking region. But also, my family from mountain region, one of the north, I think it's like the northwest of Georgia. It's called Racha, and there is also specific wine, but it's more like mountaining area. My godfather has a resort there. I have it, videos in the YouTube. You can check out the videos I made, and you can see the information. That is a place to definitely check. So there are a lot of destinations. I definitely recommend Georgia for the tourism. Hello, hello. You got a tattoo? Yes, I do. It's a dragon, single face, and it's a warrior themed tattoo. When visiting India, check places which don't have many Muslims. They're usually a bit better than other places. We've been in India in 2024, and we were. I'll tell you the exact sequence. We were in Mumbai, then Goa, then we went to Amritsar, to Punjabi in the Pakistan border. Then we went to Haridwar, but then I got sick there, so we didn't really explore the city. And then we went Rishikesh straight away. I loved Rishikesh, by the way, and then Delhi. So it was more. It was the west, and then north, and a little bit going to the south, but it was not even one third of India. However, it was a good, interesting experience, and I loved out of all those, I loved Goa and Rishikesh the most. Okay, what do we have here? You have been to Poland? No. Ironically, I haven't been in Europe except Cyprus in the like the Greek side. Your grandfather got a restaurant now. My godfather, not grandfather, my godfather and his family. They're like family. They know me since I was born, and they were like in Tbilisi, where my grandma has the apartment in the center of Tbilisi. They're neighbors, but now his parents are in Racha, running the winery, and my godfather, he's in UK running a winery slash restaurant that he opened recently, and his family they just go back and forth. Sometimes they come back to Georgia, but at this point they're mostly in UK. But his parents are running the winery. His dad makes that wine. uh, Last time we were there was October. Yeah, it was October. We just went like a little bit less than for a couple weeks, and we helped to make the wine. I have the video, by the way. I have a couple videos. You can check it out and see yourself. It's a beautiful place. It was nice to participate in the winemaking process. Visiting Georgia and drinking wine at your godfather's establishment is definitely on my bucket list. Well, that's great. You just let me know. You just hit me up when it is about to come true. I too like to put a tattoo, but Islam is not permissible to put tattoos. Well, exactly. Same, technically, same as a Christianity. Um, Technically, an authentic Christianity is not permitting tattoos as well, but that's definitely not my lifestyle. It's also not hurting anyone, right? You're not hurting. You might, at the worst, you might hurt yourself, right? It's your responsibility. I'm happy with my tattoos. I have few, and I'm not getting more. At least big ones. I'm not planning to. I'm done with my tattoos, but the ones I have, they are part of me. Greetings from Brazil. Hi, greetings to you from Vietnam, Nha. You're from USA. No, I'm from Georgia, but not the state, the country. In my free time, I'll try to watch the winemaking video. Feel free. I'm not sure about the video quality. I try to make it as nice and watchable, but it's just a beautiful place. So it's worth to check it out just to see the beauty and the nature and the winemaking process. Have a great day as well. Those were great videos. Love the winery tour and seeing you to shoot the big guns. Oh yeah, that was actually near Tbilisi. There are some shooting. It's actually, I mean, if I'm back in Georgia, if you ever come to Tbilisi, I can introduce to my friends who come frequently go to um, shooting to the range, and they're very responsible. You know, they follow all the protocols so with the gun safety, and they're quite they're pro West, pro US. You have people who are pro Russia and pro US. Well, those guys are pro US. They would love someone from Texas. That's 100%. So I might introduce you. Yes, I'm from Georgia, from Tbilisi specifically. You know the Russian language? Yes, I do. I know Russian language because my mom is from Crimea. She's half Russian, half Ukrainian. So it's just my family's bilingual. They speak Georgian and Russian. My father's, and so does my father. Even though he's Georgian, that's well, he married. He brought my mother to Georgia and married her there. So it was a common practice back then. He didn't kidnap her or anything like that. Not don't think about that. They're like kidnapping, and it's a ugly tradition. And well, some of those kidnappings are real kidnappings. But yeah, they just at that point fell in love. He brought her to Georgia. Now they're divorced, but she stayed. She stayed in Georgia. No, it's Georgia Tbilisi. Hey, Kali. Um, welcome from Vietnam, Nha Trang. Speak something Georgian to us. გილოცა ახალ წელს. ისურვებთ ბედნიერებას, ჯანმრთელობას და ყველაფერს საუკეთესოს. That was a very cliche, basic New Year wishes. I said Happy New Year. Wish you everything the best, the health, and I said Jamtil health, happiness, and everything the best. Someone asking about the Crimeans knowing Uzbekski. Well, not my mom at least, but some others do. Becky Lynch. Yes, someone had to say it today. I get it every time. Every time I live stream, Becky Lynch is mentioned in the chat. How many languages you speak? I speak three fluent languages fluently: Georgian, Russian, and English. Those are three. And I mean, I like languages. I like to learn languages, especially after English, learning it by myself with my so-called my own methods. Um, Probably Norwegian, a little bit of Vietnamese, the actual languages that are uh, might be useful depending on our locations and lifestyle is the next on the list. But I was always wondering about something easy but more international, like Spanish, for example. Spanish is not the easiest, but not neither is the hardest language, and it's quite a big language. So, but I never. I think I did it once when I was 15 for some reason. Before even thinking about learning the proper English, I was thinking to try Spanish for some reason. And I know I just remember como estás. That's all I remember. It's awesome. I used to shoot a lot more, but got expensive like everything else. Now the most shooting I do is dove hunting in September. Bacon wrapped with jalapenos. Wow. Oh, that's. I think Chris would love to try it. Georgia, the country of, and the morning thought it was the state she was talking about. It's a watermelon juice. I don't like. I don't like tomato juice. Yeah, Chris asking, what do you hunt, Kayla? As you can see, I knew that he would be interested. They always serve a herbal mix or green tea, or something. I think it's both with whatever they serve. So they get you coffee, they get you this with it, and they know that I was a little bit sick because I come here regularly, and they made sure that they didn't put ice in this one. Do you speak Russian? It seems to me you have Russian roots. Yeah, I have Slavic roots. My mom is half Russian, half Ukrainian. She speaks Russian, and I my father speaks Russian as well. Otherwise, he wouldn't be able to meet her and marry her essentially. So yes, I do speak Russian. I hunt mountain ram, elk, and wild boar. Wow, Matt, that's big. Like I always had, well, considering that I was a vegetarian and I was very I never was like liberal type of vegetarian, but I was just like, I feel bad for animals, and just I just love animals, like petting animals way too much. Still, I do. So I was vegetarian for some time, and hunting was something that I was like, I didn't feel comfortable. But now, if you think about that way, hunting might be way better than industrial farming. Like if people just could go and hunt more, and and it's kind of like a natural chain, that uh, boar lives a good natural wildlife, and then it just gets hunted down because it's whether you do it or the a mountain lion does it. It's not a big difference to it. It's just a chain of the, how you call that, the, I forgot how it's called in English, but there is a certain hierarchy. So that is more natural. And I think if I wouldn't try myself to hunt, I would like to see at least what's the process. Yeah, Chris wants to get into hunting at some point. Okay, Lali says, please hi, and please say hi to everyone. Translate from Russian. So yeah, she says hi. Just last couple years, just dove, but also hunt deer, hog, rabbit, also coyotes when they start going after our cows. Wow, that's wild. In South Dakota, you can buy a 50 caliber rifle at the thrift store. The thrift store. That's crazy. That's cool, though. Yeah, Chris says as well, hunting is million times better than industrial farming for animals that taste amazing because they live a normal life in the wild is better, hands down. Weren't I on X Files? Is that the series? I don't know. People people compare me to Becky Lynch is on the top of the list, but I get different ones. Yeah, I haven't seen that one, so my husband is roasting me, and I don't know what he's about. Also, by AMMO, what does it mean exactly? And the liquor at the drive-through window at the gas station. It absolutely breaks my heart every time I take an animal alive, but I always honor them and eat them. I never ever shoot an animal for sport, always to eat. That's just cruel to do, in my opinion. Well, two things. First of all, I agree. Yeah, just doing it for fun's sake, that's one thing I don't understand. And yeah, for the sport's sake, hunting them, definitely disagree with that. But then the I always honor them and eat them. It was in the Hannibal series with Matt Nicholson. It wasn't Hannibal himself. He was not honoring anything, but the other serial killer, he was honoring his victims who looked like his daughter. I forgot the name of. But anyways, if you've seen Hannibal series, it just reminded me of that. Like I always I always eat them and honor them. So it's quite cool. Yeah, my husband watched it apparently. Didn't have Becky Lynch explaining ethical hunting on my bingo card today, but here we are. You work out for abs. I don't do abs separately. When I do boxing, when I do any heavy lifting, sprinting, it just gets involved. The abs are quite constant. I do planks sometimes and some leg raises while hanging, but that's pretty much it. Becky Lynch goes hunting in the next episode. Oh, welcome to Morocco. I never actually seen any horror movies. I know of them because of how popular they are, especially around the Halloween time, but never seen any of the movies. Well, that one is more like a psychological thriller. It's a version of the like Hannibal Lecter, but it's different. It's different from Anthony Hopkins. It's yeah, it's completely different. And it's cool. It's interesting, and every season gets darker and darker. And they say about making a new season, so we shall see. But yeah, it's not nothing like a horror. It's more of the detective psychological thriller, and it's a show. You do deadlift. I haven't done deadlift. I have done actually the farm squats, but more like or farm deadlifts because basically if you have your hands down and you lift the weight from the bottom, that's a deadlift. That's what I've done with two dumbbells. The barbell deadlift I haven't done in a long while, but I used to do it. That used to be one of my favorite exercises. I had tried the same, but not got satisfied results. Now start training and separately. Well, if you want a definition on app, yeah, you can do some training to slightly hypertrophy the muscle, but it's a flat muscle, and the shape, so-called abs, is genetically determined. It already is the way. That's why very skinny people who don't train at all, they have that definition very often. And some people have more flat abs or they don't have separation. Some people have just a crazy separation, even without training abs or training at all. All it takes to have a low body fat percentage. So if you want to have them the good definition, you probably just look at your diet. To me, abs is like I'm all for the strong core, and it's not only front abs; it's like a side abs and the lower back muscles too. So it's that entire um, the waist area that has to be strong. That is very important into holding the posture and functioning. You know, lifting the weights, moving, being agile. That's a very important one. If you just want to achieve aesthetics, you need to look into your diet. Oh, physical, psychological thrillers I like. I just don't like the harsh and slash bloody gore stuff. I just have to give it a watch. It's called Hannibal. Yes, and it is bloody and there are some gross moments, but it's still aesthetically done. Somehow it's beautifully done. Somehow. So I don't know. It's like you might like it, but I can promise. Happy to see you after such a long time. Well, good to have you back as well. And happy to be back. Gradually, just getting into consistency and groove. Today had a little walk. Tonight we have a visa run. Take care of certain, uh, errands and chores that we need to do, and then hopefully from the next week, at the latest, gonna be back to the training. I have not watched the Casablanca movie. Babe, have you? Chris is a big time a movie guy, like a good old school quality cinema. So he might know that movie. I like pull-ups, bar dips, a bench press, arm curls, leg press machine. Yeah, those are good. And it sounds like yeah, it's basically sounds like a full body. Despite you do it split or split days or you do full body at once, doesn't matter. As long as you target your entire body, you do it right. Mm-hmm. To have a six pack now, I have a okay body fat percentage. I'm ectomorph. Any dietary advice for me? Well, first of all, having very big focus on your so-called body type at some point that was very popular. It's a little bit vague, more vague than that. Just because you might be built a little bit more stuck up, shorter limbs and shorter height, meaning that your distance between the muscle attachment is um, shorter. You don't have very long muscles, meaning that it's easier for you to grow faster. It doesn't mean that it affects your directly, at least how to say the fat body fat percentage sustainability. The main thing is still calories and calories in and out, and obviously the you need to support it with a good nutrition. And there's such a thing as the appetite. Different people have different appetite levels, and that is usually the one of the biggest promoter of the more you eat, the more. And if you don't have a lifestyle that you um, at least equal it out into a maintenance, right? So you don't burn enough. And if you have just a sitting lifestyle and you don't move that much, you don't walk that much, you don't participate in different activities, you don't have to do a household work, of course you're gonna have a higher body fat percentage. So sometimes the guys are like, "Oh, I want to get shredded. I just go to the gym, but then I have the work and I don't move much. The rest, apart from the training, it's better to relook the entire lifestyle. Start more walking, more moving. Focus on the calories to get the calorie tracking app. See where you are. and actually what are the um, because you might have a higher appetite, you also go for higher smaller volume, higher calorie foods like nuts and things are basically things that are delicious commonly and are um, you need to take a certain amount to feel satiated, but then the calorie wise it's well a little bit way too high, and if you don't do that those adjustments it's extremely hard to burn those calories. There is a saying, you can never out train your diet. If you have a dirty diet and you train, you're gonna build your muscle, you're gonna be good. But aesthetic wise, if you want to get shredded, if you want to decrease your body fat percentage, you need to uh, look at your diet. Okay, what do we have here? Was scrolling and found you. Okay. I have adult ADHD and autism, but I'm not Anika. I'm chill guy too. And the Taurus, I'm 21 and I got Nirvana shirt from Amazon. I got Nirvana shirt from Walmart and I like them. Good for you. Good for you. I like Nirvana too. Is this Italian English accent or French? It's Georgian. Food with the volume helps a lot. Yes, so one of the biggest adjustments you can do. You have big volume, low calorie foods. You have mushrooms, you have vegetables, some of the fruits, you have berries, and that's why a good diet, a good meal, technically contains of vegetables, vitamins, and minerals through the vegetables, through the plant-based food, and high fiber in those food that helps you to get satiated. Then you have protein, bioavailable protein component, which is we like to get chicken breast and eggs as the primary source. I also like cottage cheese and some of the dairy. Casein is quite bioavailable too. Every now and then red meat, but well, don't get too heavy on the carnivore when it's like red meat and liver. There are um, the meat, the red meat on its own in the right amount is not bad. The bad is over consuming it, and well, there is this researches regarding that. So at this point, you that's just the research what research says. So it's about finding that balance, having the primary sources for um, bioavailable protein, fiber, I said, healthy fats. Usually, it comes together with in eggs. You have the egg yolks, which is basically, yeah, it also helps protein to be absorbed better. So one of the um, reason why you need to get fat, it also helps your brain health and well many other properties as well. And do all of it within the calories. As long as you go into maintenance, or if you want to cut weight, you have a slight deficit, like 200 calorie deficit daily, or it varies, and you have averaging per week or per couple weeks, you have an averaged deficit. You might not have deficit that exact day, but then, like, let's say you ate maintenance one day, the other day you have a slight deficit, and then the third day you try not to over it. Just try not to go over, because then you have to get a bigger deficit to outbalance it, if you know what I mean, to still go into deficit and be able to cut down. When it comes to the maintenance, it's easier. You can go, sometimes you overeat over your maintenance, sometimes you then undereat. Still trying to get your nutrition though, but calorie wise, you eat less. And basically, you just manage it that way and have a more flexible lifestyle while maintaining your actual weight. I Nirvana Come As You Are is the first song I ever learned on guitar. Oh, that's cool. Ah, it's a good song. I'm in one of the Vietnamese coffee shops. You like that Ray Charles song Georgia? I actually sang it recently, so I added it to my singing repertoire. It's a beautiful song. bean sprouts, bacon, and tomato for dinner. Well, enjoy. It's again, it's a great meal. Uh, but the things like bacon and over processed meat daily, you know what I mean? I don't want to be too naggy on that. It's just, we all know it's all about balance. Trying to be no, people don't want to be Brian Johnsons, like having everything perfect, perfectly boxed, put in the boxes. That's not how you live. We just want to live healthy, sustainable life, but also enjoy the pleasures of life. So there is a way how to do it. It's just about finding that balance. Just don't over consume certain things, and also don't under consume uh, literally the stuff that your body needs and craves. Not your brain, but your body needs for a proper functioning. But the topic is just general conversations and Q&A. Well, I'm gonna read out Chris's comments. Start slow, 200, 300 calories under the maintenance. Enough, then add near walking cardio and look at it long term. You need a plan that can be done year round, not just for a short period. Yes, sustainability and basically taking like one habit at a time. Walking every morning is a habit. I mean, if you establish it, it becomes a habit. So it's about not just, oh, let me do it and then I just give up. You need to look at it long term that, okay, now I want to implement it because it makes me feel good. It's an extra steps. It's good for my cardiovascular health and etc., right? So there are like a certain reasons why you want to establish certain habits. And by extension, they're also going to help your calorie control and basically are going to contribute into your body recomposition, meaning that body recomposition is when you actually grow and maintain the muscle density, but then your fat percentage also decreases, so you generally look fitter. A lot of people just want to lose weight, but they just don't care, and essentially I've seen people losing weight, but they actually lose more of the muscle mass, and they kind of shrink, but they're still wobbly because fat. Well, you need muscle, and the more of the muscle fibers and myofibrils you have, the better your fats being metabolized actually. So the the body recomposition is the right way to look at it. You want to grow and sustain muscle mass, and that's going to help to change the body fat percentage. You only have to get lean once it's so much easier to maintain weight loss and it lose the weight. Yes, that's also a very important thing to look at. You need to really think, as Chris said, that you need to do it once. So instead of just starting it, then messing and dropping out of it and gaining extra, and then do it again and be that in that nonstop um, the recursive feedback loop. You want to really, really put your mind together, aim for it, remind yourself daily that you just have to do it for X amount of time. Let's say you need to, ideally lose, not body, do the body recomposition, obviously you can train, but you want approximately lose extra 5 kgs of fat. Yeah, it also comes with extra water and glycogen, so it's like quite a, let's say it's 6-7 kgs total, right? Uh, at the same time, we want to grow muscle. So if you have a small fluctuations, that's completely fine. But approximate number you want to drop. Well, you know that in these 3 months you can do it. You can do it absolutely healthy. The way that your brain doesn't get shocked and your body adapts through the process. And then you go to the maintenance and you learn how to do the maintenance. A lot of people fail at the maintenance phase. They do the crush diet, or sometimes they don't do crush diet. They do moderate dieting and moderate exercising. They get the good result, but then they snap out of it and they start doing exactly the same. They actually stop training, they decrease their activity again, they increase their intake again, and boom, within the faster period of time, they just within the months they gain all of that weight back, and sometimes it's like proportionated differently as well, and it's very frustrating. So that's the very important thing to remember. Maintenance is is the key part of it. It's a phase. You need to look at it as a phase, but then it gradually transits into a lifestyle and daily, just the way you live. I like Norwegian men, and so I do like my husband. OMAD 1 meal a day can also be super effective. Just hot your protein goals and you're golden. Don't eat fried foods. You can eat fried foods, but be careful with the oil and butter, whatever you use it. If you use 5 grams and 10 grams, like we use sometimes to just crisp it up, nothing wrong with that. And you don't have to do it every day. If you prefer to steam the food and if you or grilled food, it's even better. Okay, but even here, saying don't eat fried foods, well, it's about the amount. The problem with the restaurants is they don't count unless it's a healthy restaurant. They don't count the amount of oil or the quality of oil they're using or butter or margarine, whatever. They either know what they're using and how much of that they're using. So it increases, wraps up the calories and the quality of it. It's if it's a margarine, that it's already a trans fat, especially if it's heated up. It becomes, it's not the best thing for your health long term. Um, and 1 meal a day. Regarding fasting, just a couple words. The reason that fasting works, intermittent fasting, like 16, 14, 16 hours and longer fast, technically, the shorter period, the shorter window you have for eating, the less food you consume calorie wise. Unless you really stuck into yourself, that's not the right approach, and it's not gonna, might help. um the ketosis and like a fasting state, especially if you do longer fast, it might work a little bit different. Your metabolism might work slightly differently, or even boost it up, but it's still about the calories. So the one of the biggest reasons why it works is because if you don't do the fasting, people eat 3-4 times a day and they snack in between. So it's quite a lot of calories sometimes, depending what you eat. But if you have that window of 8 hours, very often people just have 2 meals a day, and they have a little bit bigger meals, and they get satiated. And if they choose quite good food, good quality food, they get their nutrition. All of a sudden, also fiber, protein, they satiate you for longer periods of time, comparing if you eat highly uh, carby foods. Nothing wrong with carbs, but that's one thing. If you eat only carbs and if you don't balance it with protein and fiber, you're gonna get hungry faster because your body's gonna process it faster as well. So yeah, just little adjustments. All of a sudden, your calorie intake gets smaller, decreases, and it creates a little deficit. And also, you have a fasting period. Generally, it's recommended to have at least 12-hour fasting. So it's basically a couple hours, 2 hours before sleep. You eat last time. A lot of us don't do that, but I'm just saying that that's a good way. And then you let your system to recoup, digest everything, function in a restorative manner. Then you wake up. Then you don't have a breakfast straight away. You still ideally move, maybe even have a morning cardio, fasted cardio, and depending on the how long you're fasting usually, what is your comfortable window, you do that. OMAD is 1 meal a day, basically. So you can do that. For men can function on it all year long. For women, it's not recommended to do that more than 2-3 weeks in the row because of the our cycle, and there are certain hormonal reasons. So there is no need for women to push themselves. Some women might be comfortable with doing that, okay, as long as you get your nutrition and normal amount of calories and you're not starving yourself in your system, it's fine. But very often the women don't feel like that, so it might not be as sustainable. So for women, it's recommended to do it maybe every other day or once in 2 days. And I like to. We very often eat 2 times per day, and that's more than enough. Good night, Matt. Thanks for being here in the chat. Well, fiber is the most essential for the gut health, and the cellular building, but it's all ingrained. You also do protein as well. So you need the bioavailable protein as the literal building blocks of your muscle fibers. I'm a boxer and talked about UFC and MMA in general. Yes, that's my husband responded to that question. Don't touch fried foods in years. I've been doing that for 43 years now. Oh, flip the cup. No, good for you. If you're comfortable with that, that's definitely not a bad thing to do. Calories are imaginary. Well, it's not exactly that, but hey, you, Becky Lynch. Hello. Okay, guys, I'm gonna wrap it up now. There are some things we gotta do before our visa run. Thank you very much for. Oh, it's like lights behind. Thank you very much for being here. Have a great day and night, depending where you're from. And I see you in the next one. Ciao.